All right, how's it going, everybody? It is the Osmo.com NHL DFS Strategy Show. We've got a nice size slate here for a Friday. We haven't had one of these in a while. What's up, Nolan? How you doing?
What's going on? Taking
Just
a break from Super Bowl action, all this like 4 hours of endless Super Bowl content to talk a little NHL DFS here.
yeah, you want to talk about the Super Bowl content in case people have missed it? I'm sure they haven't. I'm sure they've checked it all out. But in case people have
Oh,
missed, we've got it on demand.
absolutely. Yeah. Super Draft was nice enough to sponsor a really long show for our Super Bowl NFL content today. So we had a 3 hour show with Laffy and Ben Rasa hosting, and a bunch of guests. Alex showed up, Sal Vetri, Josh Engelman, Chris Baggs, Jordan Frank. So pretty fun way to get some prop bets in, get some bets in, and get some NFL DFS strategy together for the exciting coming weekend, man. You have Super Bowl plans?
Just playing a bunch of DFS for it, trying to make that
Nice.
$1 million, and then
Trying to take it down.
yeah, exactly. You gotta go for the million, right? I mean, we want to football for
Oh,
another 7 months,
for sure,
and
man. I'm thinking about like just maxing out this showdown. I wrote a really detailed article
I
today
saw that.
about like taking a look at all of the showdown slates from this season and what works and what doesn't, and some interesting takeaways I think that are applicable for this slate. Last year's winner had a pretty unique lineup with Edelman in the captain spot and a
Yeah,
bunch of wide receivers, and I think the New England D. So there's ways to get creative in these big contests, that's for sure.
yeah, for sure. Brian Jester, I think it was from Occupy Fantasy. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a stud. So there's a bunch of really quality showdown players you can learn from, including some of the guys on the site. So
yeah,
yeah, I'll be
absolutely.
competing against you if you end up maxing that. I plan on maxing that as well.
Maxing it, I like it.
Yeah, yeah. So I've been maxing these showdowns. I've been having a lot of fun, and I've gotten lucky a couple times. So it's been a fun year for showdown for me. A fun last month or so. So I'm looking to ride the hot streak and make some noise in this $1 million contest. If you guys have not checked out, our showdown rankings are free today. They should be updated very shortly, but these are going to be free for today. And then let's see, when was the last time they're updated? Oh, they are updated 1 week ago. Not much has changed. We'll get the inactives and stuff a couple hours before the game start. It's a 6:30 Eastern start, I want to say, for the Super Bowl. It's always a weird time.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, okay, cool. So you got a lot
6:30
of time.
lock, but 7:40 game time.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then there will be an hour halftime as well.
Yep.
Super Draft. Speaking of Super Draft, this is a Yahoo show, but we have free projections for Super Draft for NBA today. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You get those. Those are from Alex Baker, Osmo himself. So use those to your advantage. Go and check out Super Draft if you haven't already. And again, Yahoo is the sponsor of the Osmo.com NHL DFS Strategy Show. This $12, love to see it. It is filling up pretty much every night and early. So hopefully they can continue to roll out some bigger contests for us. And, they've already got it going on for NBA, soccer, PGA. They'll have MLB. I'll be playing a lot over there with the CSV edit. And, yeah, it's a good time playing on Yahoo. Promo code OSMO is how you get up to $30 in Yahoo Sports rewards points. Grab a White Claw, Jake. It's Friday. That's not a bad idea. That's probably what I'll do after the show.
So I have to tell you, I had my first White Claws like
Was it life
two
changing?
weeks ago in Vegas. I want to say so. I was out drinking until 3 a.m. or something like that. I like did not stop for hours.
Yeah.
Was expecting to just be absolutely. I was drinking White Claws because I had one and I just couldn't put them down. Expected to be hungover, what like just to death. Like would not be able to move the next day. Completely fine. It was unbelievable.
Maybe you just got
So
it. Maybe you're just like you're in your early 20s and you can just bounce back
but
like
maybe
that.
that's what White Claw does. It just makes
Yeah.
you feel
There you
like you're in
go.
your early 20s.
That's the craze.
Refreshing AF. I'm all about the White Claws now. So
We'll,
sign me up.
we'll see if we can get White Claw maybe to sponsor show
I
upcoming.
like it.
That'd be pretty cool.
Fridays.
Yeah, exactly. Also, our live blog is going to be free for today. Looks like someone already made that change, so you can check that out. Follow along in real time. And this is basically just where we break down news. Whoever posts it signs it. Nolan Kelly, NK. And so, yeah, follow along. There's also a ton of great info in Slack if you're not in there. Promo code NHL Strategy is how you get 50% off your first week of any Osmo Plus weekly pass. All right, man. How did last night go for you?
Again. Not so good, I think. Just kind of meh. I had a lot of Arizona. I've been like not paying attention to the end of the slate. Did Arizona end up doing anything last night?
Yeah, they did. I I needed a Hall goal for a really good night, but it ended up being pretty good for me. I had a bunch of Arizona. I just kind of had a couple good combos, and then
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the I follow hat trick.
No.
So yeah, so the guy in first, I was chasing down in the $10.
Yeah.
Did have I follow, and I follow one off 42 DraftKings points.
Oh,
He
man.
got the OT goal, and then he got the Campbell win with it. So I had Hill and Taylor Hall, and
Yeah.
Arizona was up 2-1 with like 3 minutes left. They gave up a goal, an I follow goal. He scored all three for the Kings. So
Were you leading until that point?
no, I think I was in second, so I got actually passed up in this tournament. But I had another, I had a good lineup in the 33 that ended up winning the 33. So I had an I follow on that lineup. So it wasn't all bad. Could have been really good if Hall would have scored or someone else, some scrub would have scored.
Yeah, looks like Arizona won though. 5 shots for Hall, not too bad. 1 goal night, not the just that Jersey game kind of went
Yeah,
ham. So
they had a full line goal, and it was kind of it was a pretty low scoring slate for a 3-gamer. So
yeah.
178.2, and then the next best lineup was Ryan Clifford from Guru Elite, one of my online friends. Profited almost 4K last night. 165. He had I follow, so I saw him pass me up. I wasn't too mad about that. He's a good player. And then a bunch of other familiar names. So I ended up getting fifth. Laker Great got fourth. Laker Great, another really good player. Testosterone up there. Slewfoot. Slewfoot not maxing it out. Do you know? Have you noticed that at all? 47
no,
lineups.
I hadn't been paying attention.
Yeah, 47 lineups out of the 141 max. I wonder
Maybe.
if there's something to that on short slates.
Yeah, it could be.
There probably is. So maybe something we need to take notice of. Yeah, so
Maybe there's
that's
like
about
a
it.
certain amount of optimal lineups sometimes, like I think a lot of these guys craft lineups in terms of point projection versus ownership. So when you have a certain point total and some uniqueness, and then at a certain point on a shorter slate, you're probably minus EV after you start getting down
Right.
into some less projected, highly owned lineups.
Yeah, and I think I even said on the show yesterday, like my 101st to 141st or 150th lineup feels so bad.
Yeah.
They just look terrible, but that kind of stuff can win if they're correlated correctly. If they're not going to be owned by the field very much. Seth trolling in chat. It would not be an NHL DFS strategy show without Seth trolling in chat. I saw someone. I want to give them credit. Say, let's see, hit the like button to save the whales. I have to agree with that. If you want to save the whales, hit the like button.
One whale.
Yeah, exactly. One whale per like. Looks like we got a bunch so far, but thank you guys for tuning in as always. And we will get into the good stuff now, thanks to Lineup Study, FC Pro's Lineup Study. You can get that as an additional attachment with Classic FC with your Osmo Plus package. So there you go. Detroit and the New York Rangers, 2.8 implied total for the Red Wings, 3.3 for the Rangers. Jimmy Howard and Igor Shesterkin are your goalies. Any changes on either side here?
Well, on the Rangers side of things, I noticed that I think someone posted in chat as well that Capo Caco was moved up to the top line a little bit last game. So I think that if you're going to be playing that Rangers one tonight, you can certainly, if you want to get unique, I think you can pop him on there. If you want to not have Buchnevich on there as well, I think you can probably go that route. And then I think everything's the same from Detroit. Mike Green is a game time decision, but I think he's not going to play.
Yeah. Okay, so this is I thought this would just be a slam dunk, my favorite game. And, I would just run crunches and just get everything. And I did to some extent, but I'm trying to see what kind of different combos I can get. And I like both sides of this, but it looks like it's being owned at a pretty good rate for a 7-game slate. So hard for me to get a major edge on either side. If I could only choose one line in this game, it would be the Zibanejad, Kreider, Buchnevich line, or Kako if you wanted to go there. But we will know this, half an hour before lock. So this one's pretty easy. You just play who's ever on that line. Hopefully it's Kako, and you get people with the wrong combos. They've been getting rewarded a lot this season, but I think in the long term, if you make those changes, it will pay off if the players are similar in talent. And then you've got this Strome, Panarin, Fast line on the second. For the second line for the Rangers, you can power play stack the Rangers. There's a bunch of different ways to stack them. So I love them, but our ownership projections say that everyone else loves them. So You're not going to be very sneaky with them. And then you're not going to be sneaky on the other side either with Larkin, Bertuzzi, and Zadina. They're not that cheap. Like, it's a decent price for them, but I thought that maybe people would be off of them. It looks like that's not going to be the case. They're going to be one of the higher owned stacks as well. And so I kind of agree with everything on the ownership projections. I don't think anything's over-owned. I think it's right about where it should be. Maybe, maybe I get overweight on this Rangers top line or the Rangers power play, but I'm kind of in line with where we're at on our projections for everything here.
That's kind of what I thought when I first took a look at ownership tonight, was that it seems to, there doesn't really seem to be much of, and it's pretty flat, I guess, and it's kind of spread out and kind of doesn't seem to be anything egregious. So yeah, I'm kind of with you there. Like I like I get a lot of New York Rangers 2 in crunches, and I think they actually had the highest 5-on-5 correlated ice time last game on this slate, 32% or something, I believe. So that's not a bad play. They're cheap. They fit in with a lot of stacks. I think they're probably going over-owned relative to their chances of being one of the top 2 lines on the slate, but I still like them.
Yeah, so a couple good spots in this game, maybe 3 good spots in this game if you like the Detroit side. I certainly do. I was just hoping to see a little bit lower ownership, but and I think on this game, because you got value, like chalk value, and 2, like one team that's really bad at defense. Well, both teams are pretty bad defensively. Like I think you're going to see this even higher owned in like the higher up you go. So kind of disappointed to see that. I was hoping maybe one of these Rangers lines would be popular and the other one wouldn't, but it looks pretty efficient across the board. What about defensemen? We've got Trouba, Adam Fox, D'Angelo, top power play for the Rangers. That's probably your guy if you're going to some sort of hybrid, power play stack with the Rangers.
Yeah.
And then Hronek, Cholowski, anyone?
Tony DeAngelo getting no ownership, which is really nice. So like I think I'm going to be running some 4-3 stacks with some Rangers 1. You could also like do a 3-man stack and leave Buchnevich off. You could put Kako on there, but I think that's one way to gain some leverage on the field, is just to have some Tony DeAngelo in there. If that ownership number is correct at 3%, then we saw him go off, break the slate a couple weeks back, and Detroit's penalty kill I think is pretty bad here. So don't know why he's not getting much ownership.
It's just the price tag. I doubt he projects that well as an individual play, but as a correlation play, like you said, with the Rangers power play, with either of the top 2 lines, he might get bumped up by time we get to lock in terms of our projection on him.
Detroit has the worst penalty kill in the NHL this year too. So
yeah, not shocking. They're an absolute dumpster fire. Hronek is my guy on the Detroit side with that top line. If you're going there, and that's really all I got for the Adam Fox, 3,900. If he's going to get increased minutes at 3,900, I know the Rangers aren't really they don't really ride defensemen too much outside of Trouba, so it's usually pretty split, or the minutes go up and down. But I'm taking a couple stabs at Fox as a one-off. Anything else in this game?
Detroit 2 at
like
0.2% ownership, 1 share.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it. Like
they're awful, but 0.2% ownership against the Rangers.
Right, against the Rangers. That's the key. And they're dirt cheap. So if you're trying to play a Boston 1 and a stud defenseman or something like that, I get it. Like I'll play pretty much anyone against the Rangers. So I can't fault you for that. Let's go to Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. This is going to be we're going to have another couple interesting talking points here. 2.7 implied total for the Flyers, 3.4 for the Penguins. Brian Elliott and Tristan Jarry are your goalies. What do we see here? Pittsburgh side.
Oh, man. Brian Rust just keeps on chugging, eh?
Yeah.
Points in 8 of his last 10 or 7 of his last 10 still. I'm waiting for this regression. It's going to happen. So a couple small changes here on Pittsburgh. Hornqvist up on that second line here with Malkin and Rust. So I think you have full power play correlation on Pittsburgh too, which is nice. Jared McCann moves up to the top line with Sidney Crosby and Dominic Simone. And who was up there before? Was it? It
was Simone and wait, which line you're talking about?
The top line. It was Crosby, Simone, and
I think
Aston Reese, I think.
I don't even know.
Doesn't matter. Bluger, Tanev, Aston Reese on that pairing as well. Justin Schultz looks like he's going to come back today. Probably a bit of a DraftKings misprice, anyways, with him at $2,800. He's still in the third pairing, but probably the second power play unit. Probably going to get 20 minutes tonight. So if you're looking for a scrub defenseman, he's a good one to go for. I don't know what his ownership's going to be like, but probably somewhat high.
Yeah, I mean,
And then, sorry, on the Philly side of things, just one small change. Farabee is off of Philly 2, and Michael Raffle is back up on Philly 2 with Couturier and Voracek, another line that's not getting any ownership.
yeah. So I think the Crosby line is probably gonna hard match Couturier, Voracek, and Raffle, and then you get Malkin going up against the Giroux, Van Riemsdyk, Konechny line. That's way softer of a matchup for them. So that's how I'm playing it. That's how I think that Pittsburgh's going to play it. So my lineups are going to be reflected that way. Pitt 1's going to project better anyway, everywhere probably, including with our projections. So I'm just this is probably my top stack of the day. I know they're popular, but it's just loaded the way Rust has been playing. Now you've got a 5K Hornquist playing with Malkin and Rust, full power play correlation. I don't think you have to avoid Pittsburgh 1, but it is a clear 1 and 2 here for me. Big gap between those two. I think Pittsburgh 1 is maybe the top stack of the night tonight. Like, if you're playing one lineup, I think that might be my play, even though I understand they're popular. There's tons of ways to differentiate with 6 other games to talk about.
Yeah, totally agree with you there. I'm just going to follow your lead, man, and keep playing these guys.
So yeah, I mean, the Giroux line, let me pull up these stats they have together. In 295 minutes, they're allowing 3 expected goals against per 60. When Cliffy's on, he usually mentions expected goals against, like average for a line would be around 2.3. So 3 is absolutely atrocious, and it's not like we don't have a large sample on them. We do. And if the matchup's going to go that way, Malkin and Rust have been playing incredibly well. They were playing well with Cahoon, Galchenyuk, whoever it was. I think Simone was up there for a while. And now you get Hornquist, who's probably an upgrade. He's another power play 1 guy. It seems like it's all coming together for Pittsburgh, or it's crescendoing into a spot where they just completely flop as chalk, depending on which way you want to look at it. So Pitt 2 is really all I've got in this game. I'm not really on the Philadelphia side much here. Are you?
No, just maybe that Couturier line who we have projected for very low ownership today. I probably have a couple shares of that 3%. Like that's not too bad. It's not great, but Iafallo can go for a hat trick last night, then who knows?
Yeah, anything can happen.
That's right. I just noticed Detroit has 3 of the bottom 5 lines in expected goals against on this slate. So
who does?
Fire up Detroit. Fire up those Rangers.
Yeah, certainly we'll be doing that, and then Pittsburgh will be my my other one. Bot's saying, well, let's talk about the matchups here. I don't know. I mean, he's saying that Pitt 2, or he's surprised that I think Pitt 2 is going to see Philly 1. Like, I think the top line is Couturier, whoever he's with. And it's not like Couturier is with some plugs. He's with Voracek, and Raffle's not great. But, like, you would think they would just go strength versus strength here. Crosby usually gets the tougher matchup. It seems to be the tougher matchup, and it is Couturier out there. And then, you wouldn't want to leave the Malkin line, the worst defensive line, going up against Couturier and Voracek, I would think. So I think they go strength against strength. I'm not sure. Maybe Vot sees it differently, but that's how I read it. Maybe he could convince me otherwise. I'm not tied to that take by any means.
I've got shift chart pulled up right here. So while you talk about these defensemen, maybe I'll just take a look and see what they did the last time they were in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, we might have actually. Let me know if you find anything.
It was October 29th, and initially it was Crosby against the Giroux, Voracek, Van Riemsdyk line, and looks like they got the Crosby line away from them, and the Couturier line was
that in Pittsburgh?
It's in Pittsburgh, yeah.
Okay.
So, it's a mix of both, actually. It's kind of both lines.
Maybe it will be
back
a
and
mix of
forth.
both.
More, I'd say a little bit more of Giroux,
Okay,
the Giroux line against Crosby.
fair enough. I think Pittsburgh too is still better. So as long as they're they're not going to see a ton of Couturier, I'm still willing to play them. But maybe I'll back
Yeah,
off a little bit
it
after
doesn't look like a
looking at
crazy
these.
hard match anyway. So yeah, we might be all right there.
All right, and then Letang is probably your guy for Pittsburgh if you're power play stacking them. I don't really love the power play stack here because Philly doesn't take a ton of penalties and they have a decent kill. Letang 6,100. I don't think he's a fantastic play on his own. So it's more going to be even strength stacking. But if you wanted to mix in Crosby and Letang, I mean, go for it. Never going to tell you not to play those guys. And then, yeah, again, nothing really popping out to me on the Philadelphia side. Pittsburgh's not a team I've been attacking much this season. And tonight's really no exception.
Should also say that last game was 7-1 for the Penguins, so it might not exactly be indicative as well. But yeah, right there with you, Philly not doing much for me, and I'm just gonna listen to you and take some pit two tonight and try and find some unique combos.
All right, let's go to Washington and Ottawa. We've got a 3.7 implied total for the Caps, 2.9 for the Sens. Ilya Samsonov confirmed against maybe Marcus Hogberg. He's the guy we've got first in the depth chart. Could be Craig Anderson. I'm not sure what the status is there, but we'll find out shortly after lock. Not sure that you want to play those guys anyways against the Capitals. Do we see any changes on either side here?
I don't think so. Ottawa had an optional morning skate today and didn't see anything from the Capitals side of things. So check line rushes for Ottawa. They might switch things up. But
Yeah, so
you see,
well, I just noticed last game because we all swapped to Connor Brown, and
right?
in hindsight, maybe that wasn't the right play. Like you could have still played Duclair with Peugeot and Kachuk regardless because they're probably gonna, they get power play time. They play a lot of minutes. Duclair's a better offensive player
Yeah.
than Connor Brown, so I get why people didn't swap when we got that news. But I'm probably starting my lineups tonight like it's going to be Peugeot, Kachuk, and Duclair because they stuck with that line for a while. I know they lost the game, but I still think they want to play Duclair up there. It seems like he's ended up there a bunch of different times. And maybe it's Brown in pregame skate. You could always swap down and figure out what to do with that extra 600 if you so choose. I don't really like the second line that much anyways. Tierney, Nemestikov, and Duclair if it's going to be that, or Connor Brown. I might just flip flop Duclair and Brown and go from there. You're going to get a decent matchup, whoever is with the Tierney line. So maybe there's a case to play them against Kuznetsov, Vrana, and Oshie. Probably going to be Peugeot and Kachuk against Backstrom, Ovi, and Wilson. And I don't love the spot for the Caps in terms of I don't think it's slam dunk best spot of the night. I have Pittsburgh higher than them. I think I have the Rangers in total higher than them. You can get more creative with the stacks there. And then there's some other spots that I think are just as good for the same price. So I get the total's huge. Wouldn't want to fade Ovi really if I'm playing one lineup. It's never comfortable. But they're a little bit more pricey, and maybe it's a little bit tougher matchup than people realize when you just look at the Vegas totals here.
Yeah. Agreed. I don't. I'm not getting to too much Washington, but I don't think the price tag is all that bad for Washington one. And yeah, I don't know.
So
no hot takes here for you, Jake. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, well, we're about measured takes, anyways, right? We don't need to light the
yeah,
world on fire.
Backstrom. It seems like it's going a little underowned though. Backstrom 7%. That's OV at 14% in a matchup against the Senators. I don't really know why that is, but I think it's really just a case of a lot of players being in some good spots tonight. We have one of these rare situations where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or 10 lines tonight are between 9 and 16% owned. So really, really weird slate in that sense.
Right. So they're just kind of in that bunch, and that's kind of where I have them too. I don't think I'm gonna have 0 of them, like I basically did with Tampa the other night, but I don't think I get to more than 5 to 8% or something like that if I play 100 lineups or whatever the max is in the $15. So they're just not they're not a team that I think I'm making a huge stand on. And then my feelings on Washington too. They've proved me wrong time and time again. Now you've got Vrana on the top power play. Looks like whatever
Highest,
line decides to fix that. What's up?
yeah, and the highest implied total of the night as well. They're up from 3.8 to start to 3.9. So maybe smart to be going overweight on these guys tonight.
Man, I hate it. I mean, I like Washington 1, but the second line, I'm gonna try to avoid them again for like the 20th slate in a row. It seems. But it's going to be
numbers aren't great, so
no, they're terrible. Like if they were just not great or bad defensively, that'd be one thing. But they stink at generating chances. And tonight maybe you throw that out the window, because if you're going to see Tierney, Nemestikov, Duclair, if that's going to be a line, like that's going to be a terrible defensive line. And then you get the Ottawa depth, and it's Ottawa. Like we know what to make of them at this point. It's a huge total, so I get it, but I'm taking a chance probably and getting off of some Washington 2 here.
Yeah, you're not wrong. 22 scoring chances for, 8 high danger chances for per 60, 14 against.
What do you think about?
And that's in 300 minutes.
What do you think about Carlson at 7,300? Tough to fit in with Washington 1, but he's a guy I'm still getting to as a one-off, even though I'm not in love with Washington 1 in the context of the slate.
Yeah, that's fair. In terms of defense, I mean, it's going to be pretty much Letang will be number 1, getting to a lot of Pietrangelo at that price point, which is a little bit surprising. But I mean, I got no problem going to Carlson at 7,300. He's starting. I think we're still, it's 2 games without points, so I think there's going to be some assist regression here during the second half of the season. He's probably been pretty lucky. I don't think he's going to finish with like 100 points this year, but you never know.
He might.
Pretty good spot.
This would be a good spot for
points allowed to opposing defensemen, Ottawa. So.
Yeah. So the problem is like, I don't want to play 30% Carlson and not have some Washington stacks with him. So that's the only thing, playing these super expensive defensemen. Like you saw with Yossi last night. He ended up having a decent game. He had multiple assists, but the Preds scored 5 goals. So it feels like you're going to need a few goals for this Capitals team for Carlson to get there, unless he just gets there on peripherals, which I suppose he could, but I'm not really banking on that too much in this spot. On the Ottawa side, anything else we need to mention? Any defensemen that are catching your eye? Mike Riley, Thomas Chabot down to 5,300. Boro got the empty net shorthanded goal the other night. Anything here?
I don't know. Tom Chabot not doing much lately. Still getting like 23 to 25 minutes at that price point. I think he's fine. He was priced up a lot higher than that, but he was getting like 28 to 30 minutes before. So I don't have a problem with that. Dmitry Orlov as well as your random scrub defenseman.
Yeah.
Always fine play.
Yeah, I feel like we always mention Orlov.
I don't know why. I guess he's just like one of these guys that I feel like could get you an assist at pretty low price point.
Sure. Chabot's been pretty disappointing. Had a nice little stretch a couple weeks ago, but the minutes have been okay. They're not at 30 or anything, but he's still getting like 23, 25 most nights. 5,300 if you're playing Ottawa skaters. Like he's a fine guy to add in, but I don't have.
Just give me Slavin at $4,100.
Yeah, so that's a guy that I think is just a way better play. And then Mike Riley, if we believe these power play units, I think he was with the Kachuk-Pajot unit last game, which is listed as the second, like 2,800. Maybe if you wanted to toss in a fourth player in your Ottawa 1 stack, that'd probably be the guy to go to at that price. Let's go to Vegas and Carolina. 2.6 implied total for the Golden Knights, 3 for the Hurricanes. Malcolm Subban in net against Peter Mrazek. Do we see any new lines here?
Yeah, the Carolina Hurricanes got some new lines. Looks like Nino Niederreiter is going to get benched, according to beat writers are kind of hedging their bets because he was practicing after the fact with Mrazek. So I don't know if that means he didn't take regular line rushes, so I expect him to get scratched here. So it's Stahl, Fogle, Svechnikov, Aho, Teravainen, Zingle, Paula, Nichas, McGinn, and then Walmart between Martinook and Williams. And what do we got on the other side here? Vegas, I think no changes.
Yeah, we've seen these Vegas lines for a number of games now. Yeah. Vegas 2, I'm gonna end up playing a few shares of them, but this is not a spot where I'm expecting them to do a ton. Like, they're an MME play for me, and that's really about it. Like, I guess there's a qualifier tonight if you wanted to play them in that. If you're playing that, good luck first of all. But I don't think that's going to be a line I get to with
which line was it?
Vegas 2. Like, they're amazing, but I think they're going to get matched up against Stahl, Svechnikov, and Fogel, and that's not really something I love.
They are getting no ownership, if that's factors into your decision making at all.
Yeah, so I don't think I have the stones to do it in like the qualifier or something high stakes like that, but I'll play I'll play 3 to 4% of them or whatever in multi-entry and cover myself.
So you're thinking they see the Teravainen whole line?
No, well, either way, it's not going to be that great of a matchup. The Stahl line, I think, is just pretty brutal in general. So I mean, low ownership, they're awesome. So if you wanted to take a shot, that's fine, but I don't think I'm going to be taking too many with Vegas 2. On the other side, give me the Aho line against probably Stastny, Marchessault, and Riley Smith. I think that's going to be the worst defensive line, not as dominant of a line, and Aho, Teravainen have been really good together. Now you put in Zingle there. Gets secondary power play time, $2,700, but everybody kind of knows he's one of the better values for tonight, for forwards at least.
Yeah, makes sense. Just looking at some of the numbers here, that Teravainen and Aho single line's been really good in limited action defensively so far.
And Aho and Teravainen have been so good at 5-on-5 just all season, no matter who they've been with. That I think Zingle's going to fit in just fine. I didn't wait. So, did we talk about Stastny with Marchessault and Smith, and then Stevenson with Stone and Pacioretty? We did talk about that, right?
Is that I didn't even see that. If that's a thing, so
yeah. So maybe that just changed. Let's see if I have that in my crunch. I don't think I do. Okay, I do have it in my crunch. So I just missed that. That must have gotten changed over. I must have missed the Vegas lines.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That doesn't really do a ton for me. Like, I'm fine playing Chandler Stevenson at 3,700 if you're playing Stone and Pacioretty, but it's all right. Slavin, you want to talk about your boy 4,100 top power play?
Yeah, 25 minutes a game. Not getting like crazy ownership, so not really sure why. Like 10% ownership at that price for that guy. He's probably going to be up around in the mid 5s to 6K range, I think, pretty quickly if he keeps that ice time in that role. So give me the bargain, and I'm going to be massively overweight on that tonight.
Yeah, really weird price here. Like, he's a guy who was, I think
it's gone down. Why is it going down?
He was almost like 5K, I think, last time Carolina played. So 4,100.
25 minutes last game, 26 for that. 4 block shots in each of his last 2. Like, he's good. I don't get that price.
Yeah, so just take advantage of that. I'm going to play him. He'll be one of my higher owned defensemen, I would assume, on tonight's slate. And I think you can play him as a one-off. You can add him in with Teravainen and Aho if you want to throw in Svechnikov in there. Svechnikov, for me, it's kind of difficult to decide what you want to do with him, because if you're full line stacking, you really want to play Stahl and Fogel, because I don't really want to do that. Especially in a shutdown role, if they're going to see this Pacioretty Stone line, or even if they're going to see the Marchessault line. Like, it's not a great spot offensively for them. But Svechnikov is a guy that I feel like I need to mix in all the time. So you're going to get a completely different lineup construction if you go with Aho, Teravainen, and Svechnikov compared to Zingle with them. And I think that's going to be what 70-75% of users do, or they just leave Zingle off and leave Svechnikov off. So the savings that you get with Slavin make that pretty easy to do against Vegas here tonight.
For sure. I'm not seeing, like, I don't think Vegas skated this morning. Maybe
they might have skated yesterday. That could have been.
Yeah, they skated yesterday, but I don't see anything here.
Did they have these lines yesterday, or are we just making these up?
Let me look at left wing lock here.
Yeah, I don't see anything at first look, but no, I don't see anything at all. So I don't. Oh no, never mind. I do see it now. Well, it was Marchessault, Stevenson, and Smith, and then Pacioretty, Stastny, and Stone. So
Yeah, and that's what they've been doing recently, right? So
Yeah.
I
So
don't
I
know
don't
when they
know.
made the switch. We'll try and get confirmation names. We'll post it in the live blog.
Okay.
I'm sure someone's got something. I'm not seeing it from the beat writers or Sim in Vegas.
Yeah. So that's going to be one we're going to need to look at more after the show. So get in Slack, get it at the live blog. The live blog's free today, so you can all see that even if you're not a premium member. And we'll get you updated if you find anything. Bruins, Jets, 3.3 implied total for Boston, 2.7 for the Jets. Tuukka Rask and Laurent Brossoit are your goalies. Anything new here?
Just that Charlie McAvoy looks like he's good to go. He was a game time decision. And on the Winnipeg Jets side, I can't remember if they had these lines last game or not, but just in case you haven't been paying attention, Mason Appleton is up on the second line, I believe, with Scheifele and Ehlers, or sorry,
Wheeler and Ehlers.
Wheeler and Ehlers.
Yep.
So, and then Andrew Kopp is back down on the third line with Roslovich and Matthew Perreault.
Yeah, I was looking. I was just curious today, thinking about this game. Like, where were we gonna see Scheifele being owned and Connor and Line A? And I think they're owned about correctly. Like, they're cheap. It's probably gonna be a tough spot. Maybe Winnipeg's smart here and tries to get them away from Boston 1. I don't know. They've used their third line some against opposing top competition, but with Roslovic on there, probably not going to do that too often tonight. So if they can figure out a way to limit the time for Scheifele, Connor, and Line A, I'm willing to at least take some stabs here at this price. But outside of that, I don't see anything I'm in love with on the Winnipeg side. And then on the Boston side, I noticed that Boston 2 was really low owned, and that's usually the case whenever Boston 1 is heavily owned. And they're just dirt cheap. So maybe Boston 2 gets a couple goals tonight. That's a line that I like as a filler. I don't know. Do we even need to really talk about Boston 1 that much?
No, I like it. And this is a really good special teams matchup as well. Winnipeg, bottom of the league from penalty kill. Of course, Boston, one of the better power play teams. I think they're like first or second in power play percentage. So, and like just not getting owned tonight. So probably one of those things where it's difficult to fit them in because they're so expensive. Pasternak's are super expensive. So there's going to be limited lines that you can pair them with. But at the same time, 12% seems a little bit light.
Yeah, like if you think that they're going to see the Scheifele, Connor, line like all game, I think 12% is way too light. I will say I prefer Boston 1 over Tampa 1 again. And Tampa 1 would probably bury me again tonight, but if it's not even really that close for me. If I just had to choose between one of Boston 1 or Tampa 1, I think it's easily a better spot. And I just think Boston 1's probably the better line too. So
why play Tampa 1 when you can play Tampa 2?
Well, we'll get there. Don't you worry. But yeah, I prefer the Boston side. They have the higher total, but I like both of the top 2 lines. I think I'm going to be over on both in MME, and I'm probably going to be considering both for like the smaller field, higher entry stuff as well.
I'm right there with you.
I like Morrissey at 3,700 as a one-off a little bit for the Jets. Pionk is top power play, so he's the guy that I'm more going with Winnipeg 1, but if I'm one-offing, it's probably more of Josh Morrissey. And then on the Boston side, we've always got this Krug, McAvoy, Chara dilemma. Like McAvoy and Chara play a lot with Boston 1. Not as much on the road, but just in general. Krug doesn't play a ton at 5-on-5 with Boston 1, and he's usually priced up a little bit. And you're usually just relying on power play assist with Krug. So that's why I'm kind of uncomfortable playing a lot of him in general. Anything else?
No.
I don't really like Winnipeg 2 all that much with Appleton up there. 2,500. I know he's been playing well. He scored a few goals lately, but maybe that brings up the value for them. That's the thing I'm worried about. Whenever someone gets moved up, that's min salary, like we've got with Zingle tonight, and it's kind of an unknown. People just pop them in there when they're running 3-3s in an optimal
Yeah,
position.
like is he any good? I feel like 62 career games, 5 goals, kind of like a 15 to 20 goal scorer in the AHL. So, like, I don't think it's, not saying he can't have a good night here, but I don't think he's like an upgrade or anything.
Yeah. So that'd be the thing. I don't know. Roslovic wasn't really filling in, so maybe he's better than Roslovic. Maybe you should be playing them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not like I'm wild about Winnipeg too because Appleton's up there. They're just a deep filler, and that's really about it. Let's go to the Blues and the Oilers. 3.1 implied total for the Blues, 2.9 for the Oilers. Jake Allen expected to go against Mikko Koskinen. I don't see anything new on either side, but tell me if I'm wrong.
No, nothing new that I saw either, but Edmonton didn't skate this morning, so just double check those line rushes.
Very good. This is maybe the game I'll have the least of. This Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, Yamamoto line, kind of raising my eyebrows at them a little bit. They've been better, way better than I thought. And I think I said this last time we were on the show together. You get two guys in the top power play. You can pair them with McDavid if you like. I think you're going to get pretty modest ownership for McDavid having a home game. But it is kind of a tough total at just 2.9 implied goals for the Oilers. So I get why that would scare people off. It's not like you've got a ton of weak spots with the Blues. You've got Parayko back. They look pretty loaded all the way around. So not a great special team spot for Edmonton. You would just be betting on talent, I think, if you're going to make a major stand on anything Edmonton here. And then on the other side, I mean, O'Reilly, Perron, they kind of play at a snail's pace. I would be more likely to go with Shen, Schwartz, and Kyrou and take a stab there. But this game is, I don't know, this game kind of sucks. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going underweight on it. I don't really have much exposure at all. That Edmonton too has some pretty good numbers so far, right?
Yeah, let me pull these up.
I've got
So they're just not terrible, and I thought they would be actually terrible. So they're 2.6 expected goals. They're 100 minutes, 62 and a half shot attempts for. Like, they're hitting most of the benchmarks you're looking for. So yeah, I've got no problem like considering them because before, like usually what happens when McDavid and Draisaitl get split up, they're 20 times per season. And they jump back and forth. Like usually when Draisaitl's by himself, I just cross out whatever scrubs he's playing with and just only allow Draisaitl in like power play stacks. But I'm at least okay playing Edmonton too as another like deep filler stack, or you just go Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, and McDavid and Clefbaum just to pay up. But that's really expensive for not a really admirable spot, I don't think.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Anything on the Blues?
Not much. I guess like the only real advantage here is that it's also not getting much ownership. So, and I kind of am getting to a lot of Pietrangelo, though. I'm probably going to just manually bump him down because I don't know. Like it's a nice price point and everything, but it just seems like there's not going to be a ton of upside there. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then like let's just take a quick look at the ownership here. I think it's like Shen. Yeah, both of the top St. Louis Blues lines are under 5%. So I think that if you need a leverage play and reasonable price, either one of those lines is fine in kind of one-off or two-off situations, but not super big on them.
Edmonton's bottom 8 in time shorthanded this season, and they're top 10 in like penalty kill percentage. So
there you go, even more reason.
That combo plus, I get that St. Louis is low owned. That's really the only thing I think they have going for them right now. I can't get a clear read on how Edmonton wants to match, if any matching at all. O'Reilly, Perron are both 6K. To me, they haven't really been playing like 6K players recently, so I kind of have an issue paying up for them. So I'll go with the cheaper Shen Schwartz line, and that's really all I've got from the Blues side. Like Pietrangelo at 6,500, raw point wise, he's going to be up there. But if I'm not playing a lot of Blues 1, I don't think he's the guy I get to as a one-off too often tonight. Parayko 4,200. You willing to do that?
Wasn't someone I was thinking about. No.
Yeah,
I mean, no shares.
I don't think I have many shares of him right now, but it's just kind of a good price.
Take Slavin.
He's just yeah, exactly. So he's just got a huge shot, and like he does have games where he generates offense and blocks a bunch of shots too. Maybe this is potentially a spot where he does do that. They're probably going to try to get him against McDavid, So
Yeah.
maybe he sees increased ice time. I don't know. That's my case for playing a few Parayko shares. And he's just not going to be owned at all, right? So maybe if Slavin's 10-15% in your tournaments, like Parayko might be
I guess
3%.
you're right. There's the case. Like, is Slavin 10 times more likely to outscore Parayko? No.
No, I don't think so. All right, that's really all I have on that game. Are we almost done? We're gonna get out of here early. Maybe we could
Man,
talk
that doesn't
about
happen very often.
yeah. Maybe we could talk about just pimp out some more stuff we have, more promos and everything else we got going on.
People love
Super
the
Bowl
promos.
weekend. If you guys could, before we get started with the last game, if you could give us a like, that would be very much appreciated. As always, again, it is Super Bowl weekend, almost the weekend here. So go check out the Super Bowl extravaganza live stream that we did earlier today. Well, not we, but all the stars on the site were there. Alex, Sal Vetri, Jordan Frank, Chris Spags, all your favorites, Josh, and then Laffy and Ben Raza hosted it. So I'm going to go check that out right after the show. I would suggest you guys do as well. It is also in podcast form. It should be up on Apple Podcasts. I'm looking at my phone to see if I got the alert. I didn't just yet, but it will be at some point. It'll be on Spotify, Stitcher, Castbox, whatever place you listen to podcasts. That will be up there. It is a 2.5-hour show, I want to say. It took a while to download it and upload back up to SoundCloud, but it
Nice.
was a doozy. So looking forward to listening to that. I'm sure you guys will like that if you like props, DFS, weird props like national anthem stuff, Gatorade color.
Oh, the
they talk about
Gatorade color
everything.
conversation was intriguing, man. I'm
Yeah.
going lemon lime.
Okay, so I just saw the rundown of everything. So I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to actually listening to some.
Oh,
hot
there's some
takes.
strategy behind this Gatorade stuff.
Oh, I'm sure. I heard the line on the Gatorade actually moved.
It
Maybe I
did.
heard
It
it
got
on
taken
Bill
off the
Simmons or
board
something.
because everyone thought purple was going to be a Kobe tribute. So, but here's the argument, man. Lemon lime, sure, it's terrible flavor, but that's also the Laker colors, kind of, right? So, I
Lemon
don't know.
lime.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
like yellowy,
okay.
right?
I mean, you could, yeah. That might be a good play. So depending on
bet
what the odds
purple.
are at, I don't know. I'll let those guys tell me
Plus
what
EV.
I should be
This is
betting.
my negative EV bet.
Yeah, I'll just be donating to whatever site we're affiliated with. So Tampa, Anaheim, 3.4 implied total for the Lightning, 2.5 for the Ducks. Andre Vasilevsky and John Gibson. Vasilevsky's confirmed, Gibson not confirmed, but this is the Ducks. He's probably going to go. Maybe this is a Ryan Miller or whoever
you'll get
backup
that.
goalie they have.
Yeah, that 30-minute notice.
Right, so you'll get the 30-minute notice. You'll know. But we've got Tampa. What are we doing with them? Do we see any changes on either side, first of all?
No, I didn't notice any changes, but then the Ducks beat writers were silent this morning as per usual. So I think probably not expecting any, but who knows? And then
What else is there to
Tampa,
do besides watch practice?
I don't know. I think maybe what it is just like the Ducks are such a like not well supported franchise that they probably are like halftime beat writers or something. Like I don't think they travel with the team. It's like them and Arizona and a couple more teams that just don't. So
Maybe, yeah. So kind of weird that they just like why not tweet out the lines unless the team is like actively telling you not to.
I just
which would
don't
be
think
another
they
thing,
care.
but
Yeah, so I don't know. I like the Tampa side of this one again, and I'll be going back to it tonight. Tampa 2 just starting to pile up those numbers. They have some crazy expected goals for numbers so far through 85 minutes. They lead this entire slate a half goal more than the next closest line in expected goals for. So going to be overweight on Tampa 2 tonight, and probably overweight on Tampa 1 as well.
yeah. So I mean, good power play spot for sure for Tampa. One of the best power plays against a bottom half penalty kill. For Anaheim, they don't take a lot of penalties, so that's kind of one strike against them. Tampa doesn't necessarily generate that many penalties either. It's not like they're at the top of the league or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to find ways to talk myself or like rationalize why I'm not playing a lot of Tampa after last game. By the way, they were not great in that game at 5-on-5. They got the empty netter. They got some help. Like a bunch of guys got 3-point bonuses, and they ended up being the nuts. So I was a little tilted about that, but just trying to be, not biased here. I still don't think this is my favorite spot. I prefer Boston one if you're going there, or just spending down and playing some of these other lines. Like I think I don't love Vegas 2, but I think I'd rather play 5% Vegas 2 than playing 5% Tampa 1 here. And I get it. That's it's probably going to come back to bite me again, but I think they're going to see a decent amount of time against Getzlaf, Raquel, and Silfverberg, and that's really the only good line the Ducks have right now. But it is one that, like, that's a reasonable line. Like, I don't know that you need to be scared just because of them, but it's not like it's going to be a cupcake matchup for Tampa at 5-on-5. I'm just hoping that that Anaheim can stay out of the penalty box, and this is going to be a pretty brutal underweight here. I might end up playing a couple, but Tampa not at the top of my list. At least the top line.
Damn.
I do like the second.
How about 2% own Tampa 2?
Yeah, so that's where I'm going. Like, I'm gonna have some Tampa exposure. I'll be playing a bunch of Tampa 2, and that's the line. Like, they've just been so good at 5-on-5. Like, it's kind of crazy at this point. I know we're not in a massive sample, but let's see. I think they're still flirting with 4 expected goals per 60. They are at 3.9 expected goals per 60. That's absolutely outrageous for even an 85-minute sample. So they're going to slow down. But even if they can stay over 3, that's a really, really good line. That's not getting any ownership. That's in a better 5-on-5 spot than what Anaheim or Tampa 1 is going to be in. So there you go. Did I talk you off Tampa 1?
No.
Tampa's not
Me
that
and Bobby
talented.
Boom. We're taking it down.
I didn't say Tampa's not that talented. Tampa's really talented. This is not a fun one to talk about for me because I could feel very stupid again tonight when they scored 2 power play goals right away.
I still can't get over the Tampa 2 price, or the Tampa 2. The price point and the ownership does not add up to me. Like, that line is way too cheap and way too underowned.
Even if they're at 5%, I still think it's a really, really good play, even if you have 10% in multi-entry. Like, I want to be doubled up wherever Tampa 2 ends up. So, yeah, man. Tampa 1, I never get them right. So, you know what to do with that information. McDonough is still 3,100. That's kind of the guy I'm drawn to on the Tampa side if I'm going to defenseman. On the Duck side, it would probably be, if you're one-offing, Kasha's still 3,500 for whatever reason. He's coming along a little bit more lately. And then it's probably Anaheim 1 for a stack or nothing. And then I can't even pick a defenseman that I actually want to play on the Ducks at this point.
Yeah, I have not been playing Anaheim at all this year, and I'm going to keep not playing them, but that's just me. I don't know. You have more nuanced take than I do. Do you like to steal Kasha Jones line at all?
Not really.
Did you talk to them?
I think they're going to get run over by Tampa 2 if they go up against them. Whenever they go up against them, I think they're probably going to get run over against the Paquette line too. Like, that's not a bad line either.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, you were talking about D there. Like, this Anaheim defensive core is just awful. It's crazy. One of the B-Redders as well tweeted out like how many amazing players that they've traded away over the past 5 years, and it's kind of crazy.
They could use some of those guys right about now. I mean, Lindholm's playing decent minutes, but I mean, just look at the box score. Even when he gets assists, he's scoring 10 DK points. That's not doing anything for you. Like, do any of these guys have these massive upside games? Fowler's at 4,400. It's just a lot of empty minutes you're seeing for the Ducks.
Those are Ryan Suter minutes.
Yeah, I mean, Suter does way more. Like, Suter's leading the Wild in assists. I know that's not saying much, but yeah, like
Ryan Suter last year minutes.
Yeah, maybe. That's a good point. Now they're just called Dumba minutes, the way he's been playing this season.
What happened to that guy? That guy owes me like $2,000.
Yeah, he'll come back. I'm sure he'll have a nice stretch at the end of the season, just enough for us to jump back on early next season, I'm sure.
Son of a...
Now it is time to think about we'll do sub 5% Hattie. We're not going to make this too much.
This one's going to be easy today.
All right. Let me quick pimp what we've got going on right now. Live blog, free today. Here's the link. Check it out. Find out some news leading up to lock. You can see who wrote it, and then a little bit of analysis once it is posted. NBA Super Draft projections. If you haven't played on Super Draft, go check that out. Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports is the sponsor of the Osmo.com NHL DFS Strategy show. If you haven't played on Yahoo, that's also a very good place to play. Go play some NHL tonight. Get in this $12, get in the $3, the $1. They've got a bunch of 10 max, 5 max tournaments, and they're trying to grow their NHL product. So Go support them. Use promo code AWESEMO to get up to $30 in Yahoo Sports rewards points. And then finally, Showdown rankings. If you're not playing Showdown this weekend, you're no friend of mine. But there you go. Check out some Showdown rankings. Alex Baker ranks everyone that is on the slate, even Kyle Juszczyk. There's a bunch of scrubs in here. He ranks everyone. We've also got ownership projections. I believe we have a package coming out that is for the Super Bowl, but you could read that up on the site. I think we just finalized that actually once we got on the show. So I don't want to spread lies about this package. So you guys check that out on the site. We'll make a post about it. Follow Osmo_com for any promos and anything else. Who is your hat trick tonight?
Tyler Bertuzzi.
Tyler Bertuzzi? He's 5%? Did you refresh it?
Well, now we'll have to pick another one.
Oh, no. You're good. Wow. So I thought...
Let's see. Yeah, 4%.
Okay, so that's interesting, actually, because Boston 1 jumped up. It looks like in our ownership projections, we just got an update about a half an hour ago. It looks like Rangers are up there still.
Zibanejad, highest owned player on the slate.
Yeah, some of these guys took a major jump.
Yeah, Buchnevich, I think, like if you want to get some Rangers 1, it looks like Buchnevich is going to get some ownership. There's your pivot. I don't normally advocate taking a guy off a line, but like we've seen all season long him just be like continually taken off that line, and we saw it last game with Kako getting some ice time up there. So I think you're probably better off stacking Zibanejad, Kreider, and then if you want to get a third stack and put Tony DeAngelo on there or something, then I don't think that's a bad way to go tonight.
No, that's a really good point. Let's see, scrolling through these guys. Where's Brady Tkachuk at? Kind of like
he's under 5 as well.
No, he's at almost 6.
That's fine.
All right, we'll go with Brady Tkachuk.
5 point something.
Every time I watch the Senators, which isn't a ton of time, but every time I do, it feels like Tkachuk's just like generating all these amazing chances, and it is backed up in the numbers. Like he's really, really good at getting chances in close, but I don't know. I just like the way he plays, and he looks like a kid out there having fun. He's chirping just like his bro, and that's my hat trick for tonight. I think Ottawa 1 is in for a heavy workload against Backstrom, Ovi, and Wilson tonight. Anything else before we head out of here?
I think that's it, man. You got a show tomorrow? You're doing one tomorrow, right?
Yeah, so it will be tomorrow. It will be earlier, though.
Sounds good.
We'll post the time in Slack. It won't be at this normal slot. It'll be pushed up earlier, and there's not going to be any conflicts with any other shows we've got going on. We do have NFL shows, an NFL show on Sunday. Do you want to talk about that quick?
Yeah, so I think we're going to adjust the time here, but Sal Vetri and EMAC are going to do one last NFL kind of live before lock on Sunday afternoon, probably in the morning, actually. Sorry. So if you just if there's any late breaking information, maybe Tevin Coleman's shoulder gives out, who knows? They'll be there. Sal Vetri, one of course the sharpest guys in the industry, hosted by your pal EMAC, and check out all of our other Super Bowl content as well.
All right, good luck tonight, guys, and I will see you back. Talk more Super Bowl props and maybe some NHL along the way. Good luck.